Welcome back to Chemistry with Dr. Luis Montes. In this next series of videos, we're going to examine the concept of equilibrium. And in this first one, we're going to give an analogy for what equilibrium really is when a chemist thinks about equilibrium. So to begin with this analogy, we could think of equilibrium through our club EQ. Okay? So in this first image, we have 5 people wanting to get into the club, nightclub, but it's a small nightclub, so we only have 2 people who can come in. Okay? In this second image, we have a much larger club, and so we can have more people inside the club, but there's still a few people who can't get in yet. So what is equilibrium going to look like? In equilibrium, what this means is that occasionally one of these people inside the club is going to leave the club. When that person leaves, that means one of these people can enter the club. So what we've just illustrated here is that in chemical reactions, that both a forward reaction takes place as well as a backward reaction taking place. Now, even though we're talking about equilibrium, what a chemist really means by equilibrium is a dynamic equilibrium. And so throughout this series of videos, I'll be talking about equilibrium, but as a student, you have to remember that we're always using this idea of dynamic equilibrium. Okay? So reactions are going forward and reactions are going backwards. Now, occasionally, we'll have a smaller number of people outside the club and a larger number of people inside the club. Sometimes fewer people inside, more outside. The concept of equilibrium does not mean that we have equal number of people inside and outside the club. Equilibrium does not mean that we have equal amount of reactants and products. Okay? Equilibrium just means, it means something a little bit different. And what does it mean? If we go back to this example, someone left the club and then someone entered the club. If you pay attention to this, if you've been at some of these high-profile nightclubs very often, you're trying to get in, but the bouncer doesn't want to let you in. The door person doesn't want to let you in. He waits until someone else leaves the club because the fire marshal says we can only have a certain number of people inside the club. So once one person leaves, one more person can come in. Okay? That's what equilibrium means. We have one person leaving, one person coming in. When we're talking about how many people are going one direction or the other, we can use the idea that the rate of the forward reaction is equal to the rate of the reverse reaction. In other words, we have some people leaving, but an equal number of people are coming in. And that is the concept of a dynamic equilibrium.